we have here is called Hen of the Woods. This one isn't, it's a little oddly shaped, which is full of spider webs here. It's got all these leaves and the clinging to it as well. But when they're in their sort of perfectly round shape, they kind of look like a hen, just nestling down next to the tree. These kind of look like the back feathers and tail feathers of the bird. But it is one of the best eating mushrooms around here in these parts, at least. It's pretty valuable to some gourmet chefs who know what it is and know how to use it. It's a polypore mushroom, no gills underneath. Now the oyster mushrooms, when they grow in clusters, sometimes, especially if they're growing from buried wood that's buried just under the surface, they can sort of grow and look like the same sort of pattern, in that rosette kind of pattern. But the oyster mushrooms, of course, have gills underneath. Well, this has pores. It can also kind of look like the black staining polypore, maybe even the Berkeley's polypore, although that's a lot lighter in color. But I want you just sort of get to know what they look like a little bit. You can tell. I wish I brought my larger knife. I was going to, and I just forgot. These sort of have a large, it's not really a stalk, just a large base area that you need to cut off. You can see there it was sort of coming from a number of different points. So it's just kind of a large mass, all interconnected. Beautiful white underside. That's pretty much a gourmet mushroom right there. Alright, so here's a look at the hen under the light. It's not a very big one. They get much bigger than this. This one weighs about 1.5 pounds. Show you the underneath. Covered with pores all the way down the bottoms of those fronds. Of course, the bottom has some of the dirt on it still. And this is actually can be separated into two, although it's kind of stuck together. But technically, I guess this is two smaller ones. And a spider. But you tend to get a lot of debris down in here. Pieces of leaves, dirt, bark. So you got to do some cleaning up on it. And it is, while I clean it, I'll just talk about it a little bit. It's a highly valued mushroom, not only for the fact that it's so delicious, it's such a great edible mushroom, but it's also considered a medicinal mushroom. Very highly valued for that in Japan. I don't know if I mentioned the Japanese name for this, for the hen of the woods, is maitake. And the word maitake means dancing mushroom. Now, whether that looks like it's kind of dancing, or whether it's because, I heard somebody say it's because when you find one you're so excited you dance. Who knows why they called it that, but dancing mushroom, I guess, is how the Japanese view it. But it's used for a lot of medicinal purposes. It's thought to really boost the immune system, as well as have some anti-cancer properties. I know it's very high in antioxidants, as well as omega-6 fatty acids. It is also high in riboflavin, however you say that word, and niacin. It's got some protein in it, some potassium. I'm gonna go ahead and take this and give it a good rinse and see see how clean I can get it. Alright, I gave this one rinse. What I'm going to have to do is cut it apart and probably clean the pieces individually. There's so many crevices, it's hard to get all the dirt down in there, because some of it you have to scrape because it sticks, it really sticks to the mushroom. To pull it apart, you can just start pulling pieces off. They just kind of break apart. Or you can start cutting. Go ahead and cut a chunk like that. And just kind of slice them into whatever sizes you want. However way you want to do it, really. Separate them into the pieces we want to dehydrate and the pieces we want to go ahead and use. I'm just going to put them in the fridge until tomorrow. There I have a real young hen of the woods. It's not quite the size of my hen yet. I'm going to let it get a little bigger before I come back and take it. Hopefully nobody beats me to it. Well, here's that small hen I showed you. It's not gotten very much bigger, and it's really drying up. And it feels loose. So I don't know if something broke it loose. But I think I'm going to have to go ahead and take it. Even though I was hoping it would get bigger. But it's better than nothing. And we've got a hen of the woods. This is my third hen of the year. Actually, it's more than one. There's a smaller one here too. It's getting a little bit old, so I hope I can salvage some of it. This one here is a little fresher. These are really light in color. They're usually darker than this, particularly when they're younger, but anyway, I'm going to take them. On second thought, I have started pulling some of this apart, and it is really kind of crumbling. It's well past its prime. Too bad. Okay, I found a couple more hens. And these feel like they'll be closer to their prime. Maybe still just a little, see a little yellowing there, but this one's had a stick fall on it. That one may not be the best, but I'll see if any of it's salvageable. And even as I was looking at these two right here, see there's another smaller one right over there, and another one on the other side of the tree. At least one. I can't see all the way around there yet. This one, as I cut what I could and pulled it up, there's going to be some of these yellow areas. They're not good anymore, but some of this is still pretty firm, and I think it still will be good. I'm not sure if this is going to come out or not. I'm sitting here doing a cleanup on these hens, and there's, I mean, it looks like wisps of smoke coming off of here. I've shown that in my fawn mushroom video, but even if they sit here on the table, they are just releasing their spores, and it looks like little wisps of smoke in the light. There you can see it. That's pretty neat. Because I'm going to have hen of the woods spores all over my kitchen. There's another hen. As you can hopefully see, they are tough to see against the leaves sometimes. Sometimes they stand out, but sometimes they just blend right in. This one is pretty good size. Feels nice and fresh. Fortunately, I remembered to bring my larger knife this time to hopefully be able to cut off the stalk a lot easier. Here's a look at it with the leaves cleared out from around it a little bit. Get that off under it. It's probably about 18 inches across that way. Maybe 14 or 15 this way. Okay, here we go. Some of it's going bad a little bit where it's yellowing. That won't be so good. But a lot of it, especially the fronds up here, will be very nice. I'm going to make some jerky, which I did with my latch bats a little bit. And it was very, very good. There it is in my bag. Right there's where I cut it off. Underneath this big oak. And just to make sure, I looked around the other side of the tree. And check it out, we got another one. That is awesome. Well, I've got a number of jars of dehydrated hen, and this is a mushroom that does very well at dehydrating and then reconstituting. I have some right here that we reconstituted from the dehydrated, and we're gonna make what we call a scramlet.
Okay, so far we have some onion, some zucchini, yellow pepper, and kale. And really you can just put in whatever you have. And we are just about ready to add your mushrooms and the eggs. So we're going to do that now. Throw in the mushrooms. They smell good. Okay. And eggs. And of course we have some salt and pepper in there, and once they cook up, we like to eat them with salsa, and if you have some feta cheese, that's really good on top too. Sour cream. You can really make this delicious. Okay, well,
And this is just
with that said,
just one way to use your hen. There's just a myriad of recipes out there. If you just search online, you can use them any way you'd use mushrooms typically. I've made some jerky out of them this fall, and it turned out fantastic, but I think I'm going to do a completely separate video on making jerky out of them. So look for that in the future. But until then, that's what I got on Hen of the Woods. Hope you enjoy.